David Stearns needs to make these moves. If he makes these moves, I believe this team will get better. 5 moves that David Stearns needs to make. We're going to get right into this video here. And that is Mets need to re-sign Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz is one of the best closers in the game. He pitched to a 1.63 ERA. He went 6-3. This is a guy that had 98 strikeouts, a whip of 0.87. Very, very impressive. If you've seen the Mets, you know that Edwin Diaz is a guy that you need on this team. He's a closer. He's one of the best relievers. He's our most trusted reliever when it comes to the New York Mets. And a life without Edwin Diaz as the closer of the New York Mets is not going to be pretty. So he's 31 years old. He has 3 years remaining on the contract, but he has an opt-out, which is this year. And I believe he's going to exercise that opt-out. He's been on record of saying, I would love to come back. So after the World Series, they have 5 days to opt in or opt out. And if Edwin Diaz opts out, then the Mets are going to have to pay him more money. Mets are going to pay him more money, probably give him 2 more years on top of his already 3 years that he had, and pay him till he's probably 35 years old. I like that. I feel like the Mets, Steve Cohen, Edwin Diaz, they have a very, very good relationship. Very, very good. And yeah, why not? You got to get this guy. You have to re-sign him. If you don't, people are going to be pissed off. And where are you going to get an elite closer of a caliber like a Edwin Diaz? That is one move I feel like you should really make right away. Once the World Series ends, once those 5 days are done, when they opt in, go get him. Don't waste no time. Do what you did in 2022 and re-sign him right away. Don't waste no time. I don't want him talking to other teams. If he talks to other teams, Mets going to be a little bit in some trouble. So, but I believe he's going to be loyal to the Mets and he's going to want to come back here. Now, another move we got to make is you Mets need Pete Alonso. The Mets, imagine Pete Alonso away from the Mets. That is not what Met fans want. I know a lot of Met fans want back Pete, and this is a guy that had a really good year, had a horrible year in 2024, but he regrouped in 2025, had a 272 batting average, 38 home runs, 126 RBIs, 871 OPS. Very, very impressive 2025 for Pete Alonso. He's going to be 31 in December, but this is a guy that is seeking a 7-year contract. Is David Stearns willing to give him that 7-year contract? I believe he's not. So my offer to Pete Alonso is 5 years. 5 years for 150 mil. I feel like it is something that he should accept. And if he doesn't, then there's going to be some problems because I don't know if David Stearns is willing to go to that 6 year. So that's a guy that the Mets need right away back because Juan Soto, Pete Alonso in the same lineup. You saw how amazing it was this season, and you gotta have some protection right there for Mr. Pete Alonso. So I love Juan Soto and Pete in the lineup. Let's see if they get it done. And then another move, if this guy is available, go get him. Go get him right away. Mets need a caliber pitcher, one of the best pitchers in the game, probably the best pitcher in the game, Tarik Skubal. Tarik Skubal is a guy that, man, I mean, insane. Cy Young winner, pitched to a 2.26 ERA, 13-6. I mean, this is a guy that the Mets need. If he's on the table, use your prospects and go get him. I know a lot of Met fans are hesitant because he's a rental, and I get it. Maybe you could wait until free agency after the 2026 season and go get him. But I feel like, man, this would be amazing. If you pair a Tarik Skubal with Nolan McLean, there's no telling what this rotation could do. And then the next move that I'm going to talk about, it gets even better. Because that's the thing. You get a Tarik Skubal, you see what the Dodgers are doing. You see what other teams are doing. You got to compete with those guys. You got to try to make the playoffs every single year. So the Mets need to get better. And after this season, if David Stearns doesn't make moves like this, they ain't going nowhere. So David Stearns needs to wake up, needs to get out of his comfort zone and sign or trade for a big-time pitcher like a Tarik Skubal. And then hopefully You get the window to maybe sign him to an extension. He is a Scott Boras client. It is not going to be easy, but man, we'll see what happens. That's a guy that the Mets need. And then another guy here, another guy is going to be Mr. Shane Bieber. I like Shane Bieber. Me personally, he's 30 years old, coming off the Tommy John. But this is a guy, Shane Bieber, to me, that was a Cy Young pitcher. And I'm talking about guys that are proven. We've seen guys like David Stearns go after Frankie Montas, Griffin Canning, these guys that are not proven. Sean Manaea, that don't have a track record. These guys have a track record. Tarik Skubal has a track record, of course. He's the best pitcher in the game. And then you got Shane Bieber, who has a track record as well as a Cy Young. And he's coming off the Tommy John. I get it. Maybe it's a little concerning for some people. But man, after pitchers come off the Tommy John, they usually do pretty good. So Shane Bieber, 30 years old. Maybe you sign him to a 3-year, 4-year deal. Maybe. But you got to give this rotation something. Because if you can sign or you could trade for a Tarik Skubal, you could put him as your number one. That's your number one right there. Shane Bieber, your number 2. McLean, your number 3. If you can make Nolan McLean your number 3, this rotation is going to be special. So that's a potential target that the Mets could really go for. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You have the money. This is not time to be a small market GM, David Stearns. This is the time to pony up and pay the man. Pay Shane Bieber. Take a risk. Do something. Now, there's other guys you can go for. You can go for a Ranger Suarez. You can go for Framil Valdez. But this is a guy that I feel like would help this rotation a lot. And he's a gamer. He's a gamer, man. He wants to do his best. He's intense on the mound. You've seen him in the playoffs. And he's going to the World Series this year. So who knows if he's going to win? But man, Shane Bieber's a guy they should go for. Now, the last topic I want to get into here, and that is Brendan Donovan. And not a lot of people are talking about Brendan Donovan. That's a name that I feel like could help this team a lot. What I felt like what the Mets were lacking in 2025 was a leadoff man. And Lindor's a good leadoff man. But what Lindor can do at the second spot, Soto at the third, and Alonso in the cleanup, if you put Brendan Donovan, a 287 average hitter, a 775 OPS, on base percentage of a 353 in this lineup, Brendan Donovan as a leadoff hitter would do wonders in this lineup. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good for the Mets. So if the Mets are smart, they would make a call to Brendan Donovan. We see that the Cardinals are struggling. We see that the Cardinals are not making the playoffs. And they're going a different route than what they were doing before. They were always a team that makes the playoffs every single year, that gets these prospects. Now, it's like they got to rebuild. They might have to rebuild. They got some good players like Mason Wynn, like Brendan Donovan, but are they going to pay Brendan Donovan? He has 2 years left. 2 years left until free agency. So if you trade for Brendan Donovan and you trade, obviously, McNeil, because you got to get McNeil out of here, you get a Brendan Donovan and you put him in the leadoff spot, that's going to be special. That's going to be awesome. So those are 5 moves that I feel like the Mets, can make this offseason to get this team better. Let me know if you feel these 5 moves will help improve this team. If you have some other 5 moves maybe that would improve this team, let me know also. If maybe you don't like Shane Bieber, maybe you want Ranger Suarez, maybe you want Framil Valdez, let me know in the comments. Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy your Tuesday. Let's go, Mets. And I'm out of here.